Thank you very much. It's so nice to be here in Jaipur. You know, I've attended JLF in London, but to be here, what I think is sacred ground, at the queen of all literary festivals, or Amma, you would say the Kashi of all literary festivals.
Yes, yes.
And to be here on stage, talking to one of my most favorite people in the world, is really a dream come true, and I am so grateful to be here. And Amma, you know, I have so much to say, and you know, I love talking to you about anything and everything, but I want you to know I cherish you deeply, and our relationship is one I treasure in life in so many special ways. So thank you for making time. So my mother and I, we both lead busy lives. We don't find a lot of time to talk. So when you get us together, we could go on for hours and hours, but we have about 45 minutes. So I had to get my mind to really focus. And I thought, well, what are some of the things we like talking about? And I think books and reading is something we have discussed from when I was a little girl. You know, you introduced me to books. We talked about books, and we both love stories. And you're a great storyteller, we all know that. But I think books do something else. To me, the books you introduced me to, and reading introduced me to life's values. How do you read a book and take away something so special from it? And to me, what I take away from books, from some of the books, are some of life's most valuable lessons. So I thought today we could use the time we have together to talk about books and talk about values. Do you think that's a good plan, Amma?
Yeah, good morning to everyone. It is not a mother-daughter appreciation club. Okay? You should be much more than that, because I'm sure all mothers love their daughters. All fathers love their son. Okay? Anyway, so we will have something meaningful discussion. What is the value I taught them through books, why books are so essential, and how books help us to learn many things which we did not know, unlocking the ignorance, okay? And unlocking the knowledge world, all those things. So we'll discuss about that.
Thank you. So one of my earliest memories, Amma, is of you telling me stories. And these were stories about ancient India. There were also stories about ancient Egypt. There were stories about different countries, different cultures. But you also told me stories about Marie Curie, about Ada Lovelace. And so you taught me history. You taught me philosophy. You taught me science. And you taught me politics, all through storytelling. But you also said to Rohan and me, Rohan is my younger brother, that you learn, of course you learn to pass tests and do well in school, but you learn for life. You never stop learning. I think you've said that the day you stop learning is the day you stop living. And I've really that's really stayed with me. And now when I look at my own girls, Krishna and Anushka, I urge them not just to learn for school, but to learn for life. So where do you think this mindset of learning for life, learning for learning's sake, where did that come from for you?
For me? Well, I come from a teacher's family. My grandfather was the high school teacher, my mother was the school teacher, my father was the professor in a medical college, and married into a teacher's family. My father-in-law was the high school teacher, my brother was the professor, except the odd man out is Narayan Murthy, went for business. Okay? So, when you grow up in a teacher's family, the most valuable thing is not money, knowledge and books. The only gift we used to get was only books. Birthday gifts were only books. Everywhere, any occasion, books were given. And it was told to us, knowledge is so important in life. It's a great weapon in real life. and it cannot be destroyed. Like, I can lose translation, I can say that it is cannot be destroyed, it cannot be, it cannot be hidden, it cannot be bought in the market. It is like how in Gita says, how you should be. Dukkhesh anudikmanaha sukheshu gitaspruha vita raga bhaya krodha. They say, I used to tell, knowledge is most important thing in life, and you have to learn that you have to have that through books. And that is the reason I grew up with books, not with lot of money, but lot of books. And I realized its power, and I passed it on to you. And Rohan, love books. They are your constant companions. They are your never failing friends. And they will teach you a lot, opening the vast garden of knowledge.
And that's absolutely true, because in our home, my mother, Amma, you have a library dedicated to history and literature. And my father has a library dedicated to science.
Computer science particularly.
Science and technology. And Rishi and I, as we...
Economics.
As we have planned our own libraries, they're a mix of all of these different subjects. So you're absolutely right. Books are the greatest treasures. And I'll talk about a book that, or a series of books that I remember that signify to me this deep love for learning. And it's The Story of Civilization by Will and Ariel Durant. And there are nine volumes in the collection. And they're bright, they're vividly colored. And when I was a little girl, before Google and all sorts of fancy technology was around, those were my reference books. So I loved it when school gave me a project, because I could delve into these books. I could get lost in these books. And that's where where I learned about the Renaissance. That's where I learned about faith and religion. That's where I learned about ancient Egypt, and I continue to be fascinated by Egypt. So even today, I have those reference books because they remind me of a time gone by, but they also remind me that learning and reading is not just something you do because you have to, but because it's actually a joy. Is there a book, Amma, from your vast collection of books that you've authored that reminds you of this value of love for learning?
Yeah. I penned a book by the name How I Taught My Grandmother to Read. In real life, whole generation has left that because it was a textbook. No, I'm sure. Okay. One of the reasons, I and Akshata, who have a common interest, one person, both of us like him a lot. We read extensively his books. That is William. Where are you, William? We are extremely fond of William, both of us. Okay, we may differ in other things, but when it comes to William books, we page by page we argue, read, and we do that. Thanks, William, bringing such beautiful books. So my grandmother was 62 years old. I was 12 years old, and she did not know the alphabets in Kannada, and she told me, I want to learn Kannada. That's my mother tongue, our mother tongue. And I said, gee, you are old, how can you learn? She said, for learning age no bar. For learning age no bar, I want to learn. And I taught her. In traditional Indian family, we touch feet of elders. And when she learned, I was a very strict teacher because I got that power to, to teach someone who is much older than me. Read, write, recite every day, 3 hours. And poor one, she learned in 3 months. And then, to my surprise, when she started reading book, she came and touched my feet. I was shocked. I said, how an elderly person can touch my feet? And she told me a beautiful sentence, Gunasthanam nachalingam namayam. That means, whosoever taught me a single word, who unlocked this knowledge to me, and that person is my teacher. Oh teacher, I salute you. Okay? That is what I learned from my grandmother. Whosoever teaches you, he is or she is your guru. So I wrote this, How I Taught My Grandmother. It's a real life incident. No masala. Right from heart to my hand.
And Amma, you have told me that story so many times growing up.
Yeah.
And remind us what your grandmother's name is?
My grandmother's name was Krishna.
And as you know, your eldest grandchild is also called Krishna
Because of that.
to represent this continuity of love for learning. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
The next value that's really important in our family is this concept of service and duty. You know, again, from when I was a little girl, and both Rohan and I, you raised us to really understand that when you live in a community, you give to that community. You're involved in that community in some way, where you don't give for benefit, but you give because that means something to you and to the people you live with. And you've done that from a very young age. You know, when I was little and and it was my birthday, you would say, happy birthday, which was great. But then I was never allowed to have a birthday party because you would take that money and give it to a charity of my choice. And as an 8-year-old, I thought, no, that's not nice for me at all. But you were actually laying the foundations of service back then.
But I used to give you samosa and fruity to all your friends. Okay.
The basics. And you know, when I look at my father, I look at you, Appa, I think you have also exemplified service in your own way, because through business and through your incredible work, you have shown the concept of corporate social responsibility. And you took that mantle on when it wasn't fashionable to do so, and when it wasn't mandated to do so. So you have both exemplified service in the most incredible way. And the other word, along with service, that's meaningful to me, and that was meaningful to Rishi, and still is to our family, is this concept of duty. You do your duty first, and you never worry about the results. So I wonder what you make of these two words, service and duty.
Yeah, you know what I taught you in that, karmanne.
That's right, and you're, you know, I'm going to discuss that book in a minute, but,
Okay.
but I'm curious to know how you view service and duty.
Well, my grandmother, my father's mother, was a widow, and they never went to school, but she was trained to deliver babies in a village, and there were no doctors. I'm talking about 65 years back. And she will go and deliver all around the village. Fortunately, all children survived. Okay, there was no cesarean concept in those days. And she will go to anybody's house, whether they call or not. If the woman is in pain, Ajji is ready with her kit and deliver the baby. No caste, no creed, no language, no barrier. Just do that, come back, take bath, and no expectation. And looking at that, taking that cue, my father became a gynecologist, saying that we have to help women who are in distress because he has seen. Taking that cue, and my father was an atheist. He never believed in God or temple or church or masjid. He said, my temple is my hospital, my patients are my gods. Any moment, middle of the night, he will still go, he will conduct deliveries. This is the part of our family, that service is most important. Taking that cue, my sister Sunanda, she became a gynecologist in a government hospital and helping thousands of women in her 40-year service. So this has come, service has come as a part of our DNA. So for us, helping someone is not that I'm doing anything extra or I'm doing something great. I think it is as good as breathing, drinking water, dressing up, how you do service to someone is part of our life. And it has given me enormous happiness, because I feel when I go up and meet God, I can always say, God, you gave me more than what my plate can hold. I served your children with same faith the way I do puja to you. I don't have anything.
And Amma, there's one book and I think you and I will certainly agree on this one as well, which to me exemplifies this concept of service, but more so duty, and that's the Bhagavad Gita. And to me, the line in the Gita, which I'm sure many of us know, Karamanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana,
Yeah.
which says, do your duty, do your dharma. And we have a right to do our duty, but we don't have a right to the fruits, to the output in a way. I think that is an incredible way of looking at one's commitment to our actions, but never to the result. And Amma, you have a beautiful story, which I know, but I'd love for you to share, about a time when you served and when you did your duty and it transformed a group of people's lives. Can you share that book with us?
Yeah. All people sitting over here don't think I'm promoting my books. Otherwise also they are sold well. Okay. Okay. Actually, service is part of our life and that is there in our family. I consider not Mr. Murty as my friend, not as my husband, but as a friend. I always appreciate him. You have created a company. By that creation of wealth is a reduction in poverty. This is also a kind of service he has done to our country. One book I have written, every book has this, but this is a very favorite book of mine, 3,000 Stitches. I worked with the sex workers 20 long years. And I thought I will be able to change 10, but I could change 3,000 of them. And they made a quilt. They made a quilt with the 3,000 stitches. And everyone I give that as a gift. It was the toughest job in my life was to change them from their profession to bring them to a normal life. And that day when 3,000 of them changed, you know, I stood them on the stage like this in a village where all of them assembled. Suddenly I realized that my wish list is empty. I'm completely satisfied and I'm happy I could do this most difficult work. So this is a book where I describe my journey. They threw rotten tomatoes at me initially. They threw chappals at me. Sometimes I felt, why should I do? Then I remembered resilience, get up, do, because this is your duty. Let them insult you, but it's your duty. At the end they realized what they did was wrong. But a sense of duty is very important to our family and we have passed it on to the next generation.
Thank you, Amma. And I remember you actually called me one day after you had this ceremony with the women and you cried on the phone because you said, I have no other desire in life. And that's what I find is incredible is for you, by doing good to someone else, your desires vanish. And I look forward to living that kind of a life thanks to your experiences.
I hope one day you will also do such a great work helping others and feel my bucket list is empty. Because what a great satisfaction it is.
Yes.
It is not with Infosys shares. It is not with the gold. It is not with the land. It is not with anyone, anything else. It is a satisfaction within you that makes you confident, that makes you always happy. Nothing to do with the wealth.
Thank you, Amma. So the next value, or idea even, is this concept of idealism. Now, I think you have quoted, Amma, that if you're not an idealist at 20, you don't have a heart. But if you're an idealist at 40, you don't have a brain. You've said that, yet you've raised Rohan and I to be idealists and not realists. And Rohan and I are in our 40s, and let me tell you, we are certainly idealists still. So unclear whether we have a brain or not. But in all seriousness, you've raised us to think purely, to act purely, to love purely. And that has stayed with us no matter what we've taken on, both personally and professionally. And so this concept of idealism, Amma, is that something that is truly just relegated to childhood? Or is that something that stays with you for some people, even in adulthood?
Even at 74, I'm an idealist for that matter. And there was a session you didn't attend, the child within me. You know, it's not, if you want to enjoy your life, you should be simple and you should have pure values. You always enjoy. You're not, if you're worried about other things, they may increase or decrease. But this pure joy is from pure heart. I believe in that. And I told my children, first you should be a good human being. Then whatever you score in the examination, you score. Whatever you achieve in life, you achieve. But they are, for me, secondary. Primary is be pure in your heart. That means, this I learnt in House of Tatas. It's in a Parsi language actually, or a Zoroastrian language. What you think, that means your brain. What you talk, that's your tongue. And what you feel, that's your heart. And what you do, that is your hands. They all should be aligned. What I think different, talk something else. I talk something, I feel something else. I feel something and I do something else. Is not human quality. And that's what I told my children. Be pure. Please get connected. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is, for your own sake, you lead a good life. You lead a happy life. You lead a meaningful life. How do you define life? Okay, it depends on what you think. This is the way I define life to my both children.
And something else, Amma, that's unique about you, and I think that's why you raised us to be idealists, is there continues to be a child within you, even at age 74. And I think that's just who you are, and that's probably one of the reasons you write these incredible children's books, because you relate to young people in such a fundamental, idealistic way.
Yeah, because the child within me makes me to write children book. I can think like them. Okay?
You know, when I think of idealism, there's so many books I could talk about, but I'm actually going to talk about romantic love, perhaps, when I think of this book, and it's Eric Segal's love story. And it explores the relationship between two people who met at college, much like Rishi and I did, and they came from very different walks of life, and they shared a pure, idealistic love. And you know, I'm a sucker for fairy tales. I'm a sucker for films and books with happy endings. But this book doesn't have a happy ending, without giving a lot away, if you haven't read it. But to me, Love Story really looks at the most pure form of love. And that's really stayed with me. Is there a book, Amma, for you that touches on this concept of idealism?
There are many books, maybe Mahashweta?
Yes.
Yeah, I will tell. Or Mother I Never Knew, Mahashweta I will take. I wrote this book 40 years back. It's a girl who gets white patch, and she's rejected in a middle class family. She comes from a poor family, and how she realizes the strength of life, love for life, and how she comes out of it and achieves the peace in her mind, and professionally and personally she becomes extremely successful. And there is a last chapter in that book is A Wedding to Remember. It's a true story. I got an invitation one day and they said, you must come for a wedding, otherwise the wedding will be incomplete. I'm not a pandit actually to perform a wedding, and I'm a college teacher, so I did not know who are these people. But anyway, I'm adventurous. So I said, let's go and see who is this person. I go to the wedding, they are not my students. But they said, you must have lunch. I thought it's one free lunch I'm getting. But let me know why. They said, you eat, then you will tell. I said, no, you tell me first, then I will eat. They told me, my boy read this book, the father told. My son read this book, changed his mind and got married to a girl who has leukoderma or white patch. That's, I said, a wedding to remember. So a pen, a simple pen, or nowadays computer console, I will tell you, can change someone's life, I'm really blessed. So I believe books have so much power
That's right.
to change people's lives. Yeah.
And when you truly believe in who you are and what you stand for, you can overcome any challenge.
Yeah.
Yes. Which brings me on to the last value, which I look at as determination. And I think all of us, no matter who we are, what age we are, where we live, what we believe in, we all have our fair share of ups and downs. And determination is what allows us to push forward. So maybe this is something we can both discuss, Amma. What gives you determination?
Okay, I'm being your mother. Let me ask you that. Akshata, how do you be so determined, goes ups and downs? There are many changes in lives, and you live in you live in 2-3 continents, okay, 2-3 countries. What is that? You bulldoze and determined. You tell me first.
Yes.
As a mother, I will tell you. As a teacher, I will tell you.
So, no, that, and it's, there are so many moments I have had in life where you have given me that determination. So one of those is actually you, the strength that you give me. But more broadly, for me, if I feel that my actions can have some positive impact to those around me, it comes back to this concept of service, then it gives me great strength. And as you say, it allows me to bulldoze through my fear, my anxiety, and my doubt. Because ultimately, if I believe that my actions can have some small positive impact on those around me, then I feel strengthened and bolstered. So that's my source. And then I have seen you and Appa live out your life with utmost determination. And when that's role model for you, your whole life in different settings, that's all you know. And so I think it's really a combination of my ability to have impact combined with incredible role models in my life.
But is there any book which you have read where people undergo real life difficult situation, yes, and you learn from that book as well? Because knowledge is not from one source.
Yes.
Like how ocean is never made up of only one river, many rivers make the ocean. Same way knowledge, some of them you can see and learn, hear and learn, read and learn. With experience you can learn, through books you can learn. Is there any book in your life which has given you to help your determination?
Thank you, Amma. And I have 2 books I would love to share with all of you. One is a book by an author called Maggie O'Farrell, and she's and it's called Hamnet. And I came across it a few years ago, and it has the most beautiful cover. So they say never judge a book by its cover, but I really did judge this book because it had the most beautiful cover. But it's the story of, and it's mostly, it's historical fiction maybe with a grain of truth in it. And it's about Shakespeare's son, Hamnet. And sadly, we don't know a lot about Hamnet, but we do know that he died quite young. And he had a twin, Judith. But this book is about the death of Hamnet, and then the pain that Shakespeare and his wife Agnes undergo to lose a young son. And yet it ends in what I define as a story of resilience and determination, because Shakespeare comes out of this incredibly tragic time in his life and champions that same pain and tragedy into immense creativity. And in fact, the book alludes to the fact that perhaps Hamlet, which is one of his most famous plays, a tragic play even, was inspired by Hamlet's death. So to me, that is tragedy turned into creativity through determination and resilience. There's another book, and I think we've discussed this book, Amma, and you know, both my mother and I, and now my daughters, Krishna and Anushka, we're all obsessed with historical books. And so this book is a British author. Her name is Alison Weir. And she writes, it's part of a series called Six Tudor Queens. And it's about a queen, the first wife of Henry VIII. Her name is
of Aragon.
Catherine of Aragon. And Catherine's story is remarkable because she grows up knowing that she will be the Queen of England. And she has a series of, again, tragedies in her life. Her first husband dies. She marries her husband's younger brother, Henry VIII. And you know, they have numerous miscarriages and loss of children. And ultimately, she's unable to bear Henry, a male heir. And as a result, Henry upends the entire system and at the end brings about the English Reformation. But in the process, Catherine undergoes immense turmoil because she refuses to give in to what Henry wants her to give in to, which is to give up the crown, to give up on her marriage, and to give up on her beliefs. And the easiest thing for her would have been to hold on to her material goods and give up on her beliefs. But she stays resolute, she stays determined. And to me, that is a great example of someone. And in fact, she dies in quite a sorry state. But to me, she's a hero because she held on to her values and she was determined. And you know, when I see, especially women, I'm particularly inspired. What about you, Amma? Is there a book, again, from your vast repertoire that spells determination and resilience?
Well, not one book. There are many books because people change with age. You know, when I was a young girl, my grandfather was a hero. Later, when I was in teenage, my father was a hero. Later, I became hero myself. I said, no, I have to learn with myself. It is not somebody, because everybody is human, they make mistakes. I must learn with my own ability. So you go on changing. There are series of books which have changed me. But there are some books which remained with me in my mind. It's like 10,000 miles without a cloud. That's a beautiful book. And The Kingdom on Indus. These are two books which are, May You Be the Mother of 100 Sons, one more book. These are some books, but not one book. All this time, Akshata went on praising, mother gave me this, mother gave me that. Now I want to tell what my daughter gave me. I want to tell that. It was in the year 1996. It was in the year 1996. It must have been, some people might have read, Amma, what's your duty? Akshata was 16 years old girl. I'm giving her age. Okay? And also my age. So she used to read by her to a blind boy in Bangalore. On by herself, she will cycle and go and read and come back. I never told my children to do. Let them do and I will observe. You should allow them to fly, but you should have the control within you without showing it. So she used to read and come back, and Anand got admission in St. Stephen's College, Delhi. He was a poor boy, economically not strong, and I was head of the Department of Computer Science in Bangalore, one of the university. She came and told me, Amma, Anand got his admission, will you sponsor him? I was very busy setting up the question paper. You know, setting a question paper is like a wedding house, always keeping busy. So I told Akshata, oh, you can sponsor. She told me, Amma, you don't even give 10 rupees in my hand. Press writes about my money, but I don't even know how much I have. You monitor my birthdays, and where do I have money? Then she asked me, Amma, you are 46 years old. What is your aim in life? And if you cannot do any social work, then you don't have a right to tell anyone to do any work. And she went away. She was 16 years, teenage girl, got upset. I went to the question paper hall, examination hall. I sat there. As usual, it was postponed. Meeting was postponed. I sat there and I thought about it. What is my duty? First 15, 20 years, I worked for myself to get a rank and how to defeat boys in their own game to be a good engineer. Okay? because I was young. I wanted to defeat kind. Today I don't even look at it that way. Then I helped Narayan Murthy to build Infosys without being a part of it. Now Infosys doesn't require me. I don't worry about my rank. What is my aim in life? Glamour, money, going around, staying in 7-star hotel? No, none of them enchanted me. Then I remembered a famous quote in Taittiriya Upanishad where Nachiketa says, why money is needed, what happens to money, if you don't control it, how it destroys you. I said, no, I am going to do philanthropy here afterwards. So Akshata is my teacher. I was sleeping, Akshata woke me up and said, Amma, what's your duty? Maybe it is in our family, I suppose. Elders learn from youngsters. I taught my grandmother, Akshata taught me. Okay, I don't know what my granddaughters will teach.
I think that actually leaves just about a minute for you to discuss. I know you were recently in London, or in Yorkshire actually. We were sitting, I remember we were sitting on the couch, and you and Anushka were conspiring on something, Amma. So can you give us a hint of what you were conspiring on?
Anushka is my granddaughter, and we always discuss what children like. She said, Ajji, this is very boring. Children require more adventurous, more like a detective kind. Yours is very plain. So we are discussing, and I have written 2 books, children novels. One is The Magic of the Lost Temple, because I introduced archaeology to children through my story book. Second one is Magic of the Lost Story. What is our legacy? What is important in the family? That is again a novel. This time Anushka said it should be like a detective story, but it should end up in London at the end because I want to be part of that. I said, okay, Anushka. And within a day or 2, I could conceive this. And this is the new book is going to come this year, The Magic of the Lost Earrings. Okay? This is when I discuss with children, I will be part of in the whole conversation. Then I get ideas from them. Children are not biased. They are frank, okay, and they tell on your face what they feel like. That is how I came up with Anushka, The Magic of the Lost Earrings. It may come out in October this year.
And that's Anushka's birthday, so that's great timing.
Thank you.
So I think we have time for some questions now, Amma.
Yeah.
So
I think we'll open to the public some questions. We have only 8 minutes left. Yeah, please. Take the mic. Who can? We don't have any choice. Anybody can ask questions. One there and one.
After this gentleman.
Hello, ma'am. It's
Which
an
ma'am?
honor to meet
This
you.
ma'am or that ma'am?
Both ma'am.
No, I'm just Akshata. She's ma'am.
I am Adhar Tiwari and I am from Bhopal.
Fast, beta.
Okay, so my question to you is that you have extensively worked towards social impact. So what do you think is the most pertinent issue in today's society that the youngsters should work on?
First, youngster should study well, play well, mentally strong. Only you do physical exercise, mental exercise. That means, not to get hooked to the gadget. Read, play, talk to others, learn something. And when you are that age, you call me, I will come and advise you. Not now.
And
Yes,
I'm just going to add to that, Amma.
Yeah.
And what I would say is, maybe echoing my mother, is learning for whatever purpose, or rather without purpose, is very important. And again, Rishi and I are looking at how we can make learning more interesting, learning more engaging. And I think as long as young people are really excited about learning, then life opens up.
Yeah, that's the reason you started learning at 10,
Lessons
I think.
at 10, yes.
Lessons at 10 you started.
Yes.
Will you tell a little bit about that actually?
Oh, I think it was briefly introduced, but Lessons at 10 was a program much inspired by our at the beginning of this conversation, we talked about learning for life, discovering your passion. And so when I lived in Downing Street, I started a program which brought in young people from across different parts of the UK every Friday to come into the building, learn about the building's history, and finally understand a little bit what is their passion. Because with passion, we can do anything.
That is true.
So that's what we would advise.
Yes, ma'am, this side.
A very good morning.
No time.
I'll take it fast. I'm Jyoti Mishra from Bihar, a working journalist. I have a 4-year-old daughter, but since I have her, so I have left my work at a part-time basis. So I just wanted to take a view on both mother and daughter on this subject. That a mother, being a mother, I feel guilty if I leave her. So what should I do? I mean, like taking my career to full swing again, or how? I mean, like मुझे एक जो बेटी है
मालूम हो गया,
उनका भी
मालूम-
view चाहिए and of a mother also.
मालूम हो
Thank
गया?
you so much.
Yeah. Okay. You want to answer?
You
or
go
should-
ahead, go
okay.
ahead.
Both Akshata and I left our careers when our children were born. I left my career and I was at home because this is my personal view. Children require you, boys require you up to 14 years. Afterwards, they are on telephone. Girls require you up to 12. After that, they are in teenage. They will come back to you after 19. Okay? So there are different formula. And this is a period where you can impact your children with your value system, what they want to become later. Okay? So I normally advise, take a break at that time and later you can always go back. Akshata, your view.
The only thing I would add is you can have it all, but not at the same time. So that's been my philosophy, and that has served me well.
It's an individual choice, but that is my choice. And that was her choice. Yeah. No, next. This side somebody. Yeah. No. One night. I have only 4 minutes left. Yeah. Somebody.
What about this little
Okay.
girl?
Children are small questions, Akshata. Where is Gopi? Gopi is fine. Gopi has said bow to you. Okay. Next question. They will ask about Gopi, I know.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah.
What inspired you to write books like these?
Gopi? Yeah? Okay, I knew these questions. Because Gopi tells me in my ears his stories. No. I imagine, I interpret what Gopi does, and then I will write. I like children. I want to entertain you with all positive things. Hope, positivity, lot of jest in life, and always say, so what? Okay, something doesn't happen, so what? It doesn't matter. So that kind of attitude I want to give. So I write for you. Thank you, girls. Okay, elderly person, somebody. Yeah, this side, yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah. Not much time left. Behind every successful woman, there is an understanding man. Okay? But when man becomes successful, it is not a woman behind him. When man becomes successful, a woman is along with him. But for woman, man is behind. For a man is along. Okay?
Hello, ma'am.
And I'll just add that I think both you and Appa and Rishi and I are very much, we have worked in partnership. And as you rightly say, it is an equal partnership, Amma.
Who is the opening batsman, Akshata?
It's me this time.
Yeah. Okay, I can say it's me. Okay?
Hello, ma'am.
On fun side.
Hello, ma'am.
1 second. Fun side, because it is not who is opening, who is closing. We have to work together as a one unit with plus and minus, complementing each other. That makes life better, beautiful, and enjoyable. Thank you. Yes, next one.
Hello.
Yes. Whosoever. Yeah, please.
Hello, ma'am.
Idhar hai aap.
Idhar. I can stand.
Okay.
I am on wheelchair.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Sorry, sir, please
you
ask.
have a inclusive bond in your family. Nowadays, technology is changing day by day. How can everybody can make a strong bond between each other in family?
You have to share, you have to talk, you have to tell, okay? But we have to talk it out. Suppose you are not happy, if you must have, all of you must be knowing, if you are happy and clap your hands. If you are happy and clap your hands. That way, you have to show it, you have to tell, you have to share. You may not agree, but you should not keep quiet. It is a word, which is the emotion which binds all of us. Yes, Akshata.
And I would say, I have 2 teenage girls, and they have phones and they are quite busy. But I remember when we were growing up, you would say exactly this to Rohan and me. No matter what you're feeling, no matter how much we disagree, you have to talk it out, because talking it out actually connects us. You know, it's maybe how we've evolved as human beings.
Yeah.
But when you face to face talk it out without worrying about offending anyone, but actually just putting your emotions on the table, then you build deeper bonds. And the other thing I would add is, when talking through things allows you to have a similar kind of value system, and values bring people together.
Yeah.
Okay, Amma, 25
the last.
seconds.
Only 20 seconds are left. So, yes. Yes, बताइए जल्दी से. नहीं, क्वेश्चन बताइए, हिंदी में बताइए, नो प्रॉब्लम.
डॉटर की मदर हूँ और सिंगल मेरा ग्रैंड चाइल्ड है, लेकिन मैं 100 बच्चों की नानी हूँ और 100 बच्चों की माँ हूँ. आपका राज्यसभा में एक स्पीच सुना था सर्विक कैंसर के बारे में. मैंने उसका प्रयास किया, लेकिन बहुत आजकल जो व्हाट्सएप यूनिवर्सिटी में उसको इस गलत तरीके से लोगों को भरा गया. आप एक मैसेज इस मंच के माध्यम से दीजिए कि सर्विक कैंसर बहुत ज़रूरी है और सोसाइटी केवल.
नहीं, मैम, I got it, ma'am. Okay, I will tell you. This is not the munch where I can talk about that. For that, I have a Rajya Sabha, I will talk there. This is a literary festival. Let us celebrate books. Let us celebrate ideas. Let us participate. Get positive ideas. Keep hope and enjoy every day. Today is your day. Tomorrow, kal ho na ho. Let me enjoy. Dhanyawad. Jai Hind.